Hey there. I am going to talk about developing diamonds today, and this is kind of a different topic for me to talk about because I think it's so individualized, and you can't just make someone a diamond coach. You can't just build their business for them. So, when we're talking about developing diamonds, we have to think about what makes a good leader and instilling those qualities in these people, but it all starts with believing in them. So think back to when you started as a coach, and let's say you're a diamond coach right now, or you're pushing to be diamond. Think back to what made you believe that you could be diamond. It was probably because you had either seen someone else do it that you trusted, or your upline told you that you could, and they believe in you, so you started to believe in yourself. Probably started with one of those things. So I know that reminds me, when I think about that, the importance of sharing what we do and sharing that it is possible and it's not impossible, because the people that trust us and that want this for them too, they're watching us. So if they see that we can do it and that we're sharing, that we're accomplishing our goals, then they are going to believe that they can do it too. I think that developing diamonds starts with that is your actions, because they're going to follow what you do. And secondly, it goes back to you just telling them that you believe in them, telling them that it's not as crazy of a goal as they might think it is, and that you believe that they can not only get diamond, but they can get far past diamond. Diamond is just a stepping stone to all the things that you know are in their future as a coach, and sharing those things with them. I think one thing that we do wrong often as leaders is we're afraid to push. We're afraid to push our coaches. And I think that's a huge downfall, because a lot of times a coach, when you're like, okay, what's your goals? Like, what's your year-end goal? And they're like, oh, I want to be diamond in, 4 months. And initially we're, as leaders, like, that's crazy. You can be diamond in like a month and a half if you really wanted to, but we're afraid to say that, so we accept that goal and we just roll with it, which might be a realistic goal for them if they are working crazy hours, or their life just can't fit the extra time in, and maybe that's a goal that they really truly want. But it doesn't hurt to say, hey, I appreciate that goal, and thank you for sharing that with me, but I want you to know that I think that you can do that in half that time. And here's why. And I think that you can do that in 2 months, and I'm going to hold your hand through it, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do to get there. Because a lot of times when we just accept those goals, those long-term goals, without, really pushing them to their limits and showing them that it is realistic to do it in a shorter time frame, they don't think that it is then. They think that that's a really crazy goal that they just set, because you're not showing them otherwise. So I think that that's really important to do as leaders, is to kind of push the envelope a little bit, which is why when I do my GSRs, I try to get them to do their clean eating within the first week, even if they're not done with the new coach emails yet, because that's not something that you need skill for and training for and things like that. So why not get them going right away? Why not get them out there and get them running if they're ready to run? So those are a couple things that I do in developing diamonds. But the biggest thing that I think I've had success with is doing the one-on-one, or the really small group push groups, I guess you could say. They're not really always groups, but the more focused activities that we do. So like, I'll take a group of people that want to go diamond, probably only 2, maybe 3 max. And you really have to, whether you're working on them in a small group of 3 or one-on-one, just 3 people separately that month or those next 3 weeks or whatever your time frame is, really work with them and be diligent on checking in. And the biggest thing is, don't just check in on them and say, hey, how's your goal coming along? Say, hey, these are the people I messaged, And these are the responses I got. And this is a message that I used if you need an idea. And show them that you're doing it with them, that you're in the trenches with them. Because when you're doing those actions alongside them, it makes them realize that that's right. Like, there is no crazy secret sauce to this business. It's just this stupid, silly daily things. And by you keeping each other accountable for those small daily things, they know that they can do it with you. And then they see you doing it, and they're going to follow along with you. The other thing with those small mentored groups and messages and that one-on-one kind of focused atmosphere, whether it's in Zooms or in a Facebook group or, like I said, private message, or maybe you set up a weekly call every Monday that you're going to do with them, make them show you what they're doing. When I first launched my Push to Leadership group that I created for my team like a year ago now, that was the best part of that group, was making them show what they were doing. Screen share, take a picture and send it via message. I don't care what it was. They had to physically show me those messages they were sending, because it's so easy to say, oh yeah, I messaged 20 people, when really you probably didn't. And if you did, then that's awesome and good for you, high five, but let's dig into those messages and let's dissect that verbiage and let's see if there's a way that we can tweak it just a little bit to make it just a tiny bit better. Or maybe we can work through those responses together instead of them just taking a rejection and letting it be, them not responding to it, something like that, because that happens a lot of times. They'll be like, oh yeah, she said no, and then you'll be like, okay, show me the message, and they'll show you, and really it wasn't a flat out no. It was just because maybe they had a preconceived notion of an ingredient or what they were required to do or cost, or they were kind of misinformed, where you could have saved that no if you provided a little bit more education in your response. So that kind of working with them one-on-one has really helped me develop diamonds, and it all goes back to just showing them that it's possible. And that starts with you. It doesn't matter if you're 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-star diamond. You have to pretend like you are an emerald every single day pushing to diamond. And then when I get to diamond, I just try to create more emeralds. Every week my goal should be to become emerald again. Because truly emeralds are what makes and breaks this business. Emeralds are what gets you to diamond. If you have a coach who's a rock star, they have 11 PS coaches and they have no emeralds yet, then it's not that coach's issue so much, but getting them to create leaders themselves. So you can focus on that topic more so than the actual recruiting and messaging and that other stuff I was talking about earlier. You can kind of take their 2 potential emeralds or their 4 potential emeralds and get them in a smaller focused group and really work with them, like, what's holding you back? What's the goal here? Let's all make a goal together and let's hit emerald together in 7 days, and here's how we're going to do it. Making it as clear and simple and clear cut as you can, but like getting challengers and like coaches, the secret is in the follow-up, and that's where it all lies, guys, is following up with these coaches. You can't ask your downline to set goals, to hit diamond, and ask them, really what they want out of this, and then they tell you, and then you don't follow up, and then their goals pass, and, then they probably feel like they couldn't do it, and then they don't reset a new goal. I fail in this area all the time, and partially it's because I feel like nobody needs me, or I assume nobody needs me, and I assume that my leaders will come to me if they need me, and I get too scared to bug them, and I don't want to pressure them. But it's never about pressuring them. It's just constantly letting them know that you're there for them, and that yeah, they might need some time off right now, or yeah, they might take a break from the business, which is totally fine, but you constantly reminding them that you're there when they're ready is gonna make a world of difference. So those are a couple things that I've learned in developing diamonds, is just make it as easy as you can and just start with you. Go back to the basics with them and work to diamond with them. And yes, it's a lot of work to do those one-on-one groups, but if you break it down and just take your top 2 or top 3 potential people that really want to push with it, it's awesome, and it will make a world of difference, and they're going to learn tons, and they're going to soar. So I hope that was helpful, and thanks for listening.